Welcome to Centralia population. Well, it's complicated. Hey folks. Tonight, we're diving into a story about a small town in Pennsylvania with a big problem. It's a tale of a community that once thrived but now stands almost deserted. It's called Centralia, and let's just say it's hotter than a jalapeno eating contest in a sauna. Imagine living in a place where the ground beneath your feet is literally on fire. Now, Centralia wasn't always a 5-alarm fire hazard. It used to be a peaceful, charming town where families lived and worked. It was once a bustling coal mining town, home to over 1,000 people. The streets were filled with miners and their families, all contributing to a vibrant community. They had houses, schools, churches, the works. It was a quintessential American small town, complete with all the amenities you could ask for. But today, Centralia is practically a ghost town. The once lively streets are now eerily silent, and the buildings stand abandoned. The culprit? A fire, but not just any fire. This is a mine fire that has been burning for decades, and it shows no signs of stopping. We're talking about an inferno raging beneath the surface, turning the ground into a giant smoldering hot plate. The fire has made the town uninhabitable, forcing almost everyone to leave. So how did this whole underground barbecue get started? It's a story that seems almost too wild to be true. Buckle up, because it's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as 1962. A year that would change everything for the small town of Centralia, Pennsylvania. Back then, the town council decided to do a little spring cleaning by setting fire to the town dump. It seemed like a straightforward solution to a messy problem. Sounds like a solid plan, right? Everyone agreed it was the best way to get rid of the trash. Except, this wasn't your average pile of banana peels and old newspapers. This dump had a dark secret lurking beneath it. This dump was located above an abandoned mine entrance. A mine that had been closed for years but still held a dangerous potential. And you can probably guess what happened next. The fire, meant to clean up the surface, found its way underground. The fire spread to the coal seams beneath the town like a kid with a box of matches and a really bad idea. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And once coal ignites, good luck putting it out. The fire burned with an intensity that was almost impossible to control. It's like trying to extinguish a bonfire with a squirt gun. The efforts to put it out were futile, and the fire continued to burn, becoming a permanent part of Centralia's history. As you can imagine, living on top of a giant underground furnace isn't exactly ideal. The ground started to cave in, spewing out toxic fumes and turning basements into saunas. Talk about a fixer-upper. By the 1980s, the situation was getting dire. The government stepped in, offering to relocate residents. Most folks took the deal, realizing that living in a perpetual smoke plume wasn't exactly conducive to a long and healthy life. Section 4, Quenching the Inferno, Mission Improbable. Of course, there were attempts to put out the fire. They poured millions of dollars and countless gallons of water and fire retardant into the ground. But this fire was like a stubborn houseguest who just wouldn't take the hint. It's still burning today, and experts predict it could continue for another 100 years. That's right, folks. Centralia might just be the world's longest-lasting barbecue. Pass the marshmallows, maybe. Section 5, Centralia. More than just a burning hole in the ground. Now you might think a town with a perpetual fire problem wouldn't be a tourist hotspot, but you'd be wrong. People come from all over to see the smoking sidewalks, the abandoned houses, and the eerie graffiti that covers everything. There's even a church that still holds services, despite the fact that the ground beneath it is hotter than a furnace. Talk about faith. Section 6. A Ghostly Future. What remains of Centralia? Today, only a handful of residents remain in Centralia, clinging to their homes and their memories. These few individuals have chosen to stay despite the dangers and the eerie silence that envelops the town. They've adapted to the smoke and the heat, living out their days in a town frozen in time. The constant haze and the occasional whiff of sulfur are now just part of their daily lives. Centralia is a stark reminder of the power of nature and the resilience of the human spirit. The underground fire, which started in 1962, still burns today, reshaping the landscape and the lives of those who once called it home. It's a cautionary tale about the unexpected consequences of our actions and the legacy we leave behind. The fire was initially a small, controlled burn meant to clean up a landfill, but it quickly spiraled out of control, becoming an unstoppable force. And hey, at least it's got a good origin story for a horror movie, right? The desolate streets and the ever-present smoke create an atmosphere straight out of a ghost story. That's it for tonight, folks. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the haunting remnants of Centralia. Tune in next week when we investigate the mysteries of, well, you'll just have to wait and see. We promise it will be just as intriguing and mysterious. Until then, try not to start any underground fires. Remember, even the smallest spark can lead to unimaginable consequences.